Here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. I am excited to teach this class today because we are doing the iconic Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven. I have never played this song before. This one's going to be fun. Not only is it going to be fun, we can make it as easy or as hard as we want. So, if we're going to take it to the limit, that's another song, that's an Eagle song. If we're going to take Stairway to Heaven to the limit, we are going to probably need 2 weeks on this. So I have for you the intro. I have written out the intro for you. I think you're going to like it. I have also done presets. I'm still tweaking. I am still tweaking. But there are 10 presets. So I don't want to really go over presets until everybody has the handout in their hand so we can go over everything. So that's what we're going to do next week. Next week will be Stairway to Heaven Part B, and we'll go over all the presets, and we'll actually set it up on an instrument and get you to push the buttons. And if you've never memorized presets before, it'll just be a good learning workshop to learn how to memorize your presets. That's what these arrangements are for. Not because my arrangements are so doggone good, but I am kind of proud of this one. But it's to help you push the buttons and find things on your instrument, because I think that's just as important as learning to play the music. So for those of you with the smaller instruments, don't think you can't play this song. It's just going to take a little bit more work for you, because the song is actually written in 3 sections. 3 sections, 3 different tempos, and we're going to use 3 different backgrounds. So if you're on a smaller instrument, I would definitely start it with Smooth Guitarist at 69. This is for the smaller instruments. I'll tell you what the bigger instruments will be in a minute. The second section, I think I would use Rock Full Band at a certain tempo, and then up that tempo and keep it on Rock Full Band at a little higher tempo for the third section. You're also going to look specifically for a guitar sound and a pan flute. If you don't have a pan flute, technically it was a recorder. In this instrument, I liked the sound of the solo pan flute better than the recorder. It worked better on the organ for me. So you will hear that in the music, and you're going to need it, because the very first part of the song was only done on acoustic guitar and pan flute. So this was actually released in late 1971 by the English rock band Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. The song has 3 sections, each one progressively increasing in tempo and in volume. The song was voted number 3 in the year 2000 by VH1 on the list of their greatest rock songs, 100 greatest rock songs. It was number 3. Rolling Stones magazine, in their list of 500 greatest songs of all time, voted it number 31. You know, someday I'm going to get those lists, because I would like to see what's on top. I would really like to see what's better than some of these. Now, this was one of those songs I understand that Robert Plant got sick of doing. You know, it's like, oh, every time we play a concert, I gotta sing this song again. It is very repetitious, but it is a very beautiful rock and roll song. It starts out, the intro by itself. If all you learn is the intro, you're going to go, ooh, that's really cool. If all you learn today is the roadmap, then you're very successful, because this is quite the roadmap. All right, that being said, are there any questions so far? Because we're going to start with the roadmap. All right, we're in the 70s book. We're on page 268. And we're going to play all of the first page. And if you get the roadmap, then you can follow it along when I'm playing it. All of page 269, which is the second page. Very interesting lyrics, too, by the way. Turn the page to 270. Aha! 270 is one of those that we're going to actually play the whole page twice, because we have 2 sets of dots at the end of the page and at the beginning of the page. So we're going to play line 1, line 2, line 3, and there you see the beginning of a first ending. The first ending goes the end of line 3, all of line 4, and line 5 all the way to the second to the last measure. And there you have the two dots, and it's always with a bracket. So now you're going to make those two dots a color. Where are they going back to? The
First line.
first line, correct. The immediate repeat dots at the top of the page. So you're going to play that song, that page twice. All right, get a second color, because the second time you're going to go line 1, line 2, line 3, measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, and right before the first ending you might want to make a colorful 2, and then trace the 2 at the bottom of the page in the same color. And if you need to put an arrow, go ahead and do that, because then you'll know second time you're going to that last measure of the page. Now you're going to keep moving. All right. Let's go to page 271. 271. Aha, you've got dots going this way. First now, you're going to ignore them. Just put it in your head where they are. I want to know what a bustle in your hedgerow is. I think they were getting high when they wrote some of these lyrics, because none of them make a lot of sense, but it's pretty cool. I want to know what a spring clean for the May Queen is, too. I think that line was like, okay, the words rhyme, it fits, let's put it in. all of line 1, all of line 2, all of line 3. When you get to line 4, the first ending starts. Now you have to turn the page, and I think it's only one measure. Yeah, it's only one measure, so you might want to memorize that measure and make that a color, because it's a rest. You might just want to write in, that it's one measure and memorize where it is. Where's it going back to? The top of page 271, where the dots face forward. Okay, now we're going to do Your Head is Humming, if it won't go in case you don't know. The piper's calling you to join him. Dear lady, can you hear the wind blow, and did you know your stairway lies on the whispering wind? There's probably a lot of symbolism in here, but on the other hand, it could just be that the words rhymed and they fit, and then they did it. So I don't know. It didn't say in Wikipedia one way or the other. Line 4, when we get to the bottom of the page, you want to put a 2 right before the first ending. And then you want to turn the page. If you want to put an arrow, go ahead and put an arrow, turn the page, and then it's the second measure. Make it the same color so that you know. Second ending goes to the next page. Hal, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still.
You're a little bit lost? Okay, we'll go over it a second time. Now we're on page 272 as we wind on down the road. All right, you're going to play all of page 272, all of page 273, and that's it. You're done. So where are your big repeats? Your big repeats are those two middle pages. Page 270, you're going to basically play twice. And page 271, you're going to basically play them twice. Now, do you have to play them twice? No. You could just play them once and go straight to the second ending if you want. Any questions on the roadmap? Okay, I think we got it then. All right, I am changing a few chords. I'll go over that after I play the song. I am adding some notes. I'm changing a few notes. I'm adding a measure or two, and I'm doing that just to get from one preset to the next easily. I have 10 presets, and I am putting them on next preset with my foot switch. So if you're hearing a change, just know that I kicked my foot to get to that next preset. All right, I have an introduction. So here we go.
was amazing, Dawn.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, did you hear
Oh,
the
that's
three different
amazing.
sections? Yeah, I've never done it before. This is the first time I've ever played that song.
That was that was a lot.
Yeah, well, it's a long song. I'm glad we decided to do it because if you decide to take the challenge, I think you're going to learn a lot about your instrument and what it can do for you. Because it starts out real small. I mean, it's starting out with an acoustic guitar and a pan flute or a recorder. So you use the one that fits the best for you. And then it builds and it builds and it builds, and I add more stuff. So it was fun to make the arrangement, and it's fun to play. And if you're going to be changing the tempos, yeah, it's going to be a little trickier. Now, how do you do that on a smaller organ? You have to go with the tempo that the rhythm sets up for you. So if you're going with 69 is where I'm starting at the beginning on tempo. So if you're using something at 69, if you know that your rock full band you have to choose something that's going to go to, I think I went to 78 for the second section, and then just do a one button push, because choosing those tempos like this is going to take a little bit of time when you go to that next one. And then you may have to just do do a little bit of that when you go to the second one, because then you're going 10 up and going to 88 for the last section.
Dawn,
Yeah,
um, what rhythms are used?
I'm on the Imperial.
Okay.
I'm using soft and easy guitars to start with, the whole first part of the song. Now, if you're on an E organ, go to your style list and go to guitars. You have a guitars background in there that's almost exactly the same, if not the same, and it's underneath your gospel button.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we're using Rhythm Preset or Vintage 1 because you want to make sure that you're using that acoustic guitar or a sustained guitar. Uh-huh. And you notice I started with very little stuff. So I'm turning a lot of things off. But what you're doing by turning things off is learning where things are on your instrument. And I think it's going to be a great learning curve for a lot of people that have really not spent a lot of time memorizing presets or have just done some easier stuff, like let's put on a harmony, or this is pretty extensive. Because not only am I going into turning off a lot of things and changing a lot of things, I also am doing some editing style. Editing style. Okay, now the only ones that can't really do editing style that can save presets would be the Journey and the Fanfare. You can't edit the style, but you can do some tweaking and you can save presets. So next week we're going to do an extensive how to save presets and how to get on your organ what sounds you want. And you can go over it with me. I want you to all have this in your hand if you're going to join me for that. I think it's going to be fun to look at some of this stuff and go over some of this stuff. I also think it will teach you a lot about your organ. If you are still struggling after that, then my recommendations are going to be go to your nearest store, to your personal assistant, your personal advisor, and make sure you get with them and learn where the buttons are. Because the more you know about your organ, the easier it's going to be to operate even on the easy songs. Okay, so let's go over where the presets are, where to change the presets. The introduction actually is using preset 1, 2, and 3. So, and again, I can't really go over that with you until you have the introduction in your hand, so you actually know what we're doing. All right, starting at the beginning of the song on page 268, that is A4. So we're just marking right now where the presets actually are. A4.
Where was that again, Dawn?
Right at the beginning of the song. There's a lady who's sure. That's A4. A1, 2, and 3 are going to be on your intro, which you don't have yet. So you're going to start with the beginning of your song on 268 with A4. And that's going to go all the way to all of page 268, line 1, line 2, line 3. Line 4 of page 269, you have a whole rest there in that first measure. So you're going to start A5 right where you do that A chord, measure 2. That's A5. Ooh, it makes me wonder is A5. At the bottom of the page, you want to write A6. There's a. Now, if you don't want to do A6, but I put it there anyway because you're turning the page, so you want to make sure you get to that next preset. The top of the page is A6 for 270, page 270. Then you're going to play A6 for line 1, line 2, line 3, and then in the first ending, at the end of that first measure, the end of line 3, you can put A7 because you want to be on A7 when you get to Ooh, It Makes Me Wonder. At the end of the first ending, which is the second to the last measure of the page, and it's, you want to go to A8 for and it's when you go back to the top of the page, A8. Now you're going to play the whole song again, that whole page, second ending, top of page 271. Okay, here's one of the places you're going to split that into two measures. You're going to play A for an entire measure. Then you're going to just split it down the middle and put another A chord. You're going to play A for 4 counts and an A chord with a whole measure, whole rest for 4 counts. And in that second measure, that's where you're going to switch to A9. So basically what you're doing is you're going from 1A that you're going to do for 4 counts and A8. Then you're going to kick to A9 and do that for 4 counts. And what that does is it gets you into that new tempo so that when you start playing, if there's a bustle in your hedgerow, you're already feeling that new tempo.
Dawn,
Yes.
A9 goes where?
It's the first measure on the top of page 271 where that whole rest is,
Got it.
but we're dividing the measure into 2.
Okay.
So you're going to have A for 4 counts on the first, on A8, and then A, that second measure that we just formed, that's where you start A9.
Okay.
Okay? Because what that does is it gets you into the new tempo. So A9 goes the whole page.
A8. Oh,
No, A9, page
I'm sorry.
271, A9.
Right.
And you are going to play A9 through the repeat. You're going to play A9 for both times you play it. Both times you play it on A9.
Okay.
So let's turn the page. Second ending. You see where that second ending has an A chord and a whole rest?
Mm-hmm.
Divide that measure in half. You're going to have A, the very first one, now we're on the second ending, that first measure of A is going to be on A9, and the second measure of A, that's where you're going to switch to A10, because again, you want to get used to that faster tempo. And if you're on a smaller organ, it gives you time to make a switch or make your tempo higher and to push some buttons. And if you have to use another measure, do it. Just keep it on A, lots of fill in, and push your buttons while you're doing that. That's how to do it on the smaller instruments. It gives you just use those extra measures that we're writing in to give you that extra time to change your stuff if you can't memorize a preset.
so
And then
Dawn,
go ahead.
so we're at the top of the page on 272, where you're still on A9, and then it carries over to the first 2 beats of the next measure, which becomes A10. But so it's like tying A9, right?
No, because remember that first measure, is part of the first ending. That's not the one.
Oh,
The first measure, see it in the bracket? The first measure that's there, that belongs to the first ending. You don't need
Right.
that. The second ending, which is the second measure, that's the measure you are dividing in two.
oh, right,
Good
okay.
question. Yeah, so that when you get to the second ending, the first time you play that A chord, you're going to keep it on A9 with lots of fill-in, and then you're going to play it again on A10 where you're going to have a different tempo. So the second measure of the page, which is where the second ending starts, is now going to be two measures. And it's going to sound like this. Okay? So what it does is it gets you, the player, into that faster tempo, but we're taking a whole measure to do it. So we get the
Where it
feeling
goes
for
to
the,
88 beats.
yes, it's 88. Yep.
Oh, I'll change, okay.
And we're changing, now there's the three different sections, or actually we don't change our background at all until we get to A9. Everything is on that soft and easy guitars, A1 through 8. You get to A9 and you're going to soft rock, or find a different rock. You can use any rock that works for you at 78. I used soft rock. And then for A10, I'm using basic rock or 8-beat rock. And again, you can find a different one if you want for the last part of the song. Because remember, we're building in volume and we're building in tempo as well. So I made my guitars a little bit more electric in that whole last section. Now I've got one more preset, and it's the last line of the song, because I'm writing in that page 273, line 3, I'm adding extra measures. There's like 10 measures in there where he sits on the word roll, and he just holds it, and there's lots of guitar stuff going on. You also notice I'm skipping all the guitar solos. There's supposed to be a guitar solo right before you get to A10, and that's the top of page 272. There's supposed to be a whole big guitar solo. Well, if you can figure out how to put that in, go for it. But yeah, I'm not doing that. So line 3 of page 273, where you're sitting on that high B, I'm going to add, you notice I added some and lots of fill in. And then you're going to hit the stop button. And so you want to put in 2 parallel lines at the end of the first, of line 3. Put 2 parallel lines and write the word stop. Hit the stop button, not a no chord. Stop. And
Where
then
does that come in? Where do you write that on line 3?
at the end of the line.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the line, because I'm going to give you the notes for this. I'm going to give you the notes for that, and you're going to write them in, and you're going to put a fermata over those notes, and then you're going to have the 2 parallel lines at the end of the line with the word stop, and then you're going to go back to A3. You're going to touch A3. You can't do it with your foot. You're going to have to physically touch A3. And you're going to cross out the C chord because you're not going to use it. You're only using the melody line. Because that's a cappella. Now, if you wanted to add that little E minor blurb that I did at the end, you may, just to put a final note on it. But otherwise, you're not playing the lower keyboard at all. You're just going to push A3 and play the top keyboard, just the melody line.
A3 is in the intro.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just going to go back and touch that for the last line.
Well, thank God for the presets.
I told you, this one is a tough song to do without presets. Can you do it? I'm sure you can. But I don't think I'd want to, only because you're using 3 completely separate rhythms or music styles and 3 completely separate tempos. And when you do changing that fast, it's really easier if you just save it into the preset and just go with it.
Dawn,
Yeah.
at the top of the page, 271,
Mhm.
where you changed at the G chord to A9 there,
No.
right?
Oh yeah, A9. Yeah, A9. Yep.
A9, and now where that goes all the way down, and when you get to the last line and you're coming to that first ending,
Correct.
you keep that A9,
You stay
right?
on A9. You go
Okay.
back and play it again the second time
Okay.
on
and then-
A9. That whole page gets played on A9 both times.
Okay, so then, okay, that's where it's at the top of the page on 272. That's A9, and then you go back and play it again
Correct.
on
Yeah.
A9,
You're still going to stay on A9.
okay?
Yeah.
And then you go to the second ending, which becomes the A split of A9 and A10.
A10. Correct. Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else questioning where the changes go?
Got it.
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
A3, the second time, is that for the last line on page 273?
Yes. It's just for the last line because we're putting a big stop at the end of line 3.
Mhm.
And then you're
Right.
going to go to A. Just push the A3. Just push 3. And you're just going to
Right.
play the melody line. No chords, no beat, no nothing. It's just Robert Plant singing that last line. With the guitar and the pan flute.
Same tempo.
There's
3.
no tempo on that last line because
Okay.
it's just a cappella. So you're just playing the melody line at your own speed. Okay, those of you who know the song, and I'm particularly interested in Daun, was your daughter sitting next to you? Did she think I did okay on it? As I think she's my age. Yes? Okay, good. That's good. Thank you. This was the first time I've ever done this, so yeah. This
You
one-
remembered, but she remembers the song very well.
Yeah.
Never played this one before. And I'm very actually surprised that they put it in easy play so that we can actually play it. So I did add some extra things. The chords, I'm not doing that much different on chords. As a matter of fact, the hardest chords are probably in the intro. But I did add some extra chords, so let's do that next. If everybody's got their where to change the presets.
Yep.
Okay.
Dawn, on that very last line, where
Uh-huh.
that's a cappella there,
Yeah, that's a cappella.
okay, well, then you don't play that C chord there?
Don't play this. Take the C chord and throw it away.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Dawn,
Yeah.
I'd like to know where you changed your tempo to 78.
Okay. 78 changes in A9. That's where it goes to 78. It stays on 69 for A1 through 8. And then A9, you change it to a different rock and roll. I chose soft rock, and it went to 78. And then A10 goes to basic rock or 8-beat or whatever else you want to use on that, and up it to 88.
Oh,
So that's all here.
69.
69, 78, 8, or you could do
78,
68 and just do 68, 78, 88, and just do them in tens. That
Dawn?
worked too. Yeah.
The last line on 273,
Uh-huh.
we do not have the chords of C and E minor.
Nope, because you're only playing a cappella. The minute you touch a chord, what's going to happen? The rhythm's going to come on, and you don't want the rhythm.
Okay.
Okay? You don't want drums, you don't want chords, you just want the a cappella line, and you just want it's the sound that we were looking for. We went back to the acoustic guitar and the pan flute because it ties in. It actually ties the beginning of the song nicely to the end of the song.
Right,
Kind of starts the same and ends the same.
okay, all right.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm adding some extra notes in there, but this song was our prom song in 1976 or 77.
Wow, wow.
That was our theme for prom. So that was that. This is my time. This is my era. I'm sure several of you are in that exact same era, but I'm sure all of you actually remember the song because it was on the radio a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can listen
Yeah.
to it, Alexa, if you don't know it.
Yeah, look it up on YouTube or ask Alexa to play it for you. Yeah.
Dawn, my daughter was a junior in high school when she was listening to that in
Yeah.
76. In
Yeah.
76. Yeah. So
Uh-huh. Yep. I hear ya. She's my age. That's why I value her opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she says you did a good job on that song. She liked it.
Well, good. Good. That makes me feel good.
The hard part's coming later. Oh,
Yeah, because we started working on it in the morning class. Yeah. And there are some extensive things going on here because when you start out on a rhythm and you end up with like nothing happening and you're working with two hands on the top, and then I'm adding just a pan flute. I had to take out everything else. Everything else I had to take out. So yeah, it's there's going to be a lot of learning where things are and what they do so that we can get rid of them so that we can actually play. And then we'll slowly start adding things back in. But I'm also doing a lot of editing of style. So we're changing stuff inside.
So Dawn, you're also doing this on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock?
Well, we started it this morning. Yeah, we started it this morning
we
because
didn't get
they
very
asked.
far, but, you know.
They were asking, yeah, we started it like at the end of class. We were working on basically what we did today was an extension of what my workshop was on last Friday.
Yeah, that's so fun. I like that.
So you can't have enough workshops, I'm telling you. There's so much stuff to learn on these instruments. I'm still learning. But I think the best way to actually learn a lot of this stuff is to apply it to the songs that you're playing. I think that's what makes it fun. All right, let's change some chords because some of you are not going to want to come next week. So let's do the chords so you have it.
You'll be sorry.
I hope you all come. I hope everybody comes next week when we work on it again. Of course, I always forget, too, if it's somebody who doesn't like the song, don't worry about it. Play something else. You don't have to like every single song. All right, the E minor chord, we're back on page 268. The E minor chord is good. Now, here's the chord we're going to change. Take that B chord and toss it. Cross it out. We are going to substitute an E flat augmented or a D sharp augmented. It's the same chord.
Okay, say that again. E flat what?
E flat augmented or D sharp augmented. It actually reads in your organ, and I just now realized that. I've got it written in as D sharp augmented, but it reads on your organ E flat augmented. What are the notes? Your notes are E flat or D sharp, G, and B, butterfly. Gorilla and butterfly along with that D sharp or E flat. The rules for augmented are the letter +4 plus 4 more. That's how you figure out an augmented chord. And it sounds a lot better. If you are into playing the full-fingered chords, it's actually easier to play it that way because if you play E minor full-fingered, the D sharp augmented, you're just going to move that bottom note down. And then the G, you're just going to move that note down. So sometimes playing full-fingered chords, you're just moving one finger.
Mhm.
Are you saying E or G?
D sharp augmented, dinosaur sharp augmented,
D, okay.
uh-huh, or elephant flat augmented. Same chord. Write it in the way that it's going to be easiest for you to read it. It's the same chord. Let's go to line 2. Make that very first C a C major 7. C capital M-A-J 7. Your two notes are C and B, chickens and butterflies. The D chord is good for one beat, maybe even half a beat. You're going to move the E minor chord backwards. I just put an arrow going left. You're going to add that E minor chord backwards so that when you're playing it, it's going to be. And you're going to play it the way you sing it, because he's actually putting a second E in between the D and the E. Heaven.
So you want the E minor before the D?
I want it right next to the D.
Oh, okay,
Just back it up. So it's going to be D, E minor, right next to each other.
okay.
Don't wait until the rest to play the E minor. Play the E minor over the E notes.
Okay.
I know it's hard to see. Okay, third measure of line 2, cross out the B and replace that one with a D sharp augmented, just like you did in the top. D sharp, dinosaur sharp, G gorilla, B butterfly. Third line, second measure. Make that C a C major 7, C and B, chickens and butterflies. The last measure of that line, we're going to make that E minor go backwards. We're going to go D, E minor. D, E minor. Just back it up so that it's D, or write it right in next to it. Write a second one in. K, aim 4. So over the E's, you're going to put that E minor chord. And you play it the way you sing it.
Dawn, would you tell me the,
Go ahead.
I'm lost on that last one. Where are we?
We are on line 3, last measure. It's D, and then the E minor comes right after it. Don't wait until the third beat for the E minor. Play the E minor right after you play the D.
Okay, thank you.
And you made a change earlier on that line?
Yes, I made the C a C major 7.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to line 4. Second measure, make that C a C major 7. C and B, chickens and butterflies. Let's go to the next page, top line. Third measure, make that C a C major 7. C and B, chickens and butterflies. Let's go to line 2. Second measure, make that C a C major 7. Next measure, the E minor is good for 2 counts. Take the B, cross it out, and replace it with D sharp augmented. There's that chord again. Dinosaur sharp augmented instead of the B butterfly.
It comes up E flat augmented.
Yeah, it does. So if you want to write it in as E flat augmented, go ahead. It's the same chord. Same chord. E flat, G, B. Same chord. Whichever way is easiest for you to read. Third line, second measure. Guess what you're going to do to that C? Make it a major 7. Last measure of that line. Move the E minor over the E notes. So just move it backwards. So D, E minor right away. Then the E minor 7 is good. The A is good. Third measure, you can put a 7 on that E minor if you want. Now, the last measure, you're going to put in 4 chords. Line 4, last measure, where you have that whole rest. Beat 1 is a B minor. Beat 2 is the A. That's already written there. I just put the B minor before it and kind of made my measure go around it. Beat 3 is a G gorilla, and beat 4 is another A. Now, that's easy play. They're technically jumping the gun. They're not right on the beat. Bump, 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 bump. If you know the song, you'll know how to play it.
That's B minor like a boy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Butterfly minor, A alligator, G gorilla, A alligator. Those are your 4 chords for that measure. Second page, last line, first measure. The E minor, you can make it a 7 for 3 counts. Beat 4, if you wish. Now, this is optional. You can put in an A suspended fourth, A, S-U-S, and your 3 notes are D dinosaur, E elephant, A alligator.
Dawn,
Yes?
I'm sorry. So when you did the B minor, A, G, and A, was that on the end of the 4th line on page
Yes.
2? And then there
Yes.
was no changes on the last line, right?
And the last line we're still working on.
Oh, I thought you turned the page.
Nope, we haven't turned the page yet. We're on the last line right now.
That's where I got lost. Okay.
Okay.
Do you do?
Last line, where the oohs start. Ooh, it makes me wonder. The E minor at the beginning of line 5 on page 269 is a 7 for 3 counts. Beat 4 is an A sus. You have 3 notes in an A sus. It's D dinosaur, E elephant, and A alligator. And that just leads into the A. So you're going to have E minor, and then play the A. So the A sus is just for 1 beat. E minor, A sus, A. Just that 1, 4, 1.
Got it. Thank you.
Keep going. We're still on that last line. Measure 3, the E minor, you may make it a 7 for the whole measure. Now the last measure, we're going to do the same thing that we did in line 4. We're going to have 4 chords, and it's the same 4. Beat 1 is a B minor, so I just wrote it in before the A and made my measure line go up sideways to it. Then the A for beat 2, then the G gorilla for beat 3, and the A alligator for beat 4. Just like we did in line 4. Turn the page. All right. I'm going to do this a little bit easier. The C's, top line, no changes. Second line, second measure, or first measure, back up the E minor. So it's C, E minor. Leaving. So C, E minor. And you're going to play it the way it sounds, not the way it's written. Third line, second measure. There's that C chord. Move the E minor right next to it. Looking, looking. So the C over the D and the E minor over the E note. Let's go to the first ending. Go ahead.
Did you put in an extra E in there?
You can. Looking. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can. Yeah, play it the way it sounds.
Okay.
First ending. Make that E minor an E minor 7. We're still in line 3, last measure.
Oh,
Beat 4. Put in that A sus, which is D dinosaur, E elephant, A alligator for 1 count. Going to the A in the next line.
okay.
All right, then you have that E minor in the second measure, make it a 7. The next measure, 4 chords again.
Oh.
The same 4, B minor, A, G, A. So, you might want to write the B minor right before the A and just make your line go up behind it. So B minor for beat 1, A for beat 2, G for beat 3, and A for beat 4. But again, remember, that's easy play. It's going to play it more like the way it is. It's a little bit behind the beat or ahead of the beat. Bump, 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 bump. Play it the way it feels. And I'm going to give you some extra notes in the right hand for that too, if you wish. Those are completely optional. Sometimes just playing the chords is all you need. Line 4, last measure. Make that E minor and E minor 7 for 3 counts. And then beat 4, go ahead and put that A sus in again. D dinosaur, E elephant, and A alligator, leading into the A in the next line.
Say that again, please.
The last measure of line 4, E minor is a E minor 7 for 3 counts. Beat 4 is an A sus. Dinosaurs, elephants, and alligators. Last line on page 270, second measure. Put a 7 on the E minor. Next measure, we're going to do those same 4 chords again. B minor before the A, just write it in before the A and make your measure line go up behind it. B minor, A, G, A. A lot of repetition. Second ending, E minor, put a 7 on it for 3 counts. Beat 4, put your A sus back in. Dinosaurs, elephants, and alligators for beat 4. Top of the page, we have an A chord for 1 measure. We're dividing that measure in 2. Don't forget. Then we're making another measure with a whole rest with another A chord. Then the rest of those chords, no changes. Line 2, second measure, May Queen, C, E minor right away. May Queen. So that E minor goes over the E note.
Yep.
And you play it the way you remember it being sung. Don't play it exactly as written because it will sound like easy play and it won't sound right.
Mhm.
No changes now until we get to the third line. The third line, the third measure. You have a C and an E minor. Move that E minor over next to the C so it's road, you're on. So make that, as a matter of fact, you're going to change that second G to an E. Road, you're on. And that E minor is going to go over that E. So C, E minor.
But Dawn,
Yeah.
I didn't get that. You said change the G.
The second G,
Second, oh, here it is. Okay.
yeah, make it, road is a G,
Uh-huh.
and then underneath the second G, cross out that G and make it an E. Road, you're on. G, E, E.
Okay. G-E-E.
Last line on that page. Second ending. No, I'm sorry, first ending. First ending. Make that E minor and E minor 7 for 3 counts. Beat 4, guess what we're going to do? A sus. Dinosaurs, elephants, and alligators. D-E-A. The last measure. E minor, put a 7 on it for 3 counts. Beat 4 over the rest. Here's where it's different. Wait a minute. Hold on. B minor. Hold on. Hold on. Nope. I'm sorry. It's E minor for the whole, E minor 7 for the whole measure. Turn the page. The last measure of the first ending, which is the first measure of page 272, 4 chords. First one is B minor, butterfly minor, then the A, beat 2, then a G, gorilla, beat 3, and an A, alligator, beat 4.
Okay.
Second ending. We're dividing that first measure into 2. Each one has a whole rest, and each one has an A chord. Let's go to top line, last measure. You have a C chord and a D chord. The C chord is going to be good for 3 counts, and the D chord we're going to move over and do it on beat 4. So I just put an arrow forward.
Oh,
So we're going to play it C, 2, 3, D, E minor, because you just want it to lead into that E minor. C, 2, 3, D, E minor. Next line, no changes. Next line, no changes. Last line on that page. Move all those D's. Just move them all. Of course, they're written. It's written better on line 3. The D's look like they're beat 4.
oh, I see.
Yeah. Line 4. Second measure. Take that D and put it in beat 4. Move it over 1 beat. Almost done. Top of page 273.
Dawn,
Last-
hold on, Dawn.
Yeah.
That last line, would you repeat what you just said there in the last line? It's E
Last
minor.
line.
Yeah.
The C chord in second measure is good for 3 counts. Move the D over to beat 4.
Oh, okay.
It'll feel right. C, 2, 3, D, E minor.
Okay.
I see. I see.
Pretty much did that with all of them, where there's a rest.
Uh-huh.
Top of page 273. I think you can do it on that first measure. I don't have it marked, but I think I probably played it that way, 4th beat instead of the 3rd beat. And the last measure on the top line, move the D over to beat 4. I know an easy play they like to do 1 and 3, but here they're using it as a lead-in chord, so they're going to push it over to beat 4. Second line. You know what? No. Let's go to the third line. Third line. Cross out the E minor and replace it with a C major 7. Chicken major 7 for 1 measure.
That's crossing out the E minor?
Correct. Then in measure 2, we're going to put the E minor back in. And here's where the measure lines don't mean anything anymore, because now you can add as many measures as you want. Because he's sitting on that word roll, you can actually put a fermata over that B note. And then you're going to play some extra chords. You can play, oops, let's get on the right sound. You're going to, this is in the right hand now. You're going to stay on that E minor chord that we just wrote in. And you're going to play several measures of just E and G. Elephant and gorilla. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're stacked. So you want to put E, or G over E. So G is going to be on the first space above the staff, and E is going to be on the top space. E and G, and you're just going to play that for several measures. And save room, because in the next measure, you want to write 4 stacked full-fingered chords.
Are you on line 3?
I'm still on line 3.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Cross out, in the third measure, cross out that tied B, because we're going to write 4 chords of our own. You can also cross out the F sharp and the E in the last measure, because we're not playing those. We're playing our own things, because it sounds better, and it's in the original sheet music.
The B's in the measure 1, 2, and 3 are erased too. 1
and 2, you're going to play it for 1 and 2. And then when you start going to all these, you can actually hold that B while you're playing the G's and E's. Then in measure 3, cross it out there because that's going to be where you go into the... And you can write RIT, which means retard, slow it down, or you can just write the word slower. And it doesn't matter what's going on here, it's just lots of noise. And you're just going to slow down those chords. And lots of fill in, lots of fill in, lots of drums, lots of fill in. And after you play, and you can, and I'm going to tell you what those notes are, and then you can put a fermata over that one. Then you're going to put your 2 parallel lines and say stop, and then you're going to go to the last line.
Yep.
Because that's where you're really building. Okay, so in measure 3, or wherever you feel like writing it in, here's the notes for the 4 chords. A alligator on the first line over the staff. This is beat 1. Beat 1 of the 3rd measure. These are for the right hand. A on the first line over the staff. C on the top space of the staff. B on the middle line. Alligator, elephant, butterfly, all stacked up. Beat 2, remember we're doing a free fall timing, but beat 2 on the measure. You're going to put G on the top space over the staff. Then you're going to repeat the E and repeat the B. So G, E, B, gorilla, elephant, butterfly. The 3rd one is going to be an F sharp on the top line. Then you're going to repeat the E and the B, elephant, butterfly. So F sharp, sharp fish, elephant, butterfly, stacked up. And beat 4, go back to the A on the top line, first line over the staff. And then repeat the E and the B, top space, middle line. All stacked up. And then in the next measure, cross out the F sharp and the E. We're not playing them. Wherever you have room, you're going to write G on the top space over the staff, gorilla, and then the E and the B again, elephants and butterflies. So basically, you're just playing E and B, and you're changing your pinky. And then you stop, and then you change your preset and play the last line. So when you get to that last page, second line, E minor, now we're going to do the
Wow.
Yep, and then when you stop, it's like, oh! And then you go to A3 and play that last line a cappella. As it ties in the first part of the song. And I'm writing in an extra note. And it's right before the very final E note. You're going to put a D right next to it. Heaven. G, D, E. That's the way he sings it. Pretty involved song, isn't it?
Very.
Oh, no.
On the third, the 273 third measure, the last 2 measures, do you have that written on your music? You could hold up and let us have a look at how you did that.
Yeah, actually.
Idea.
Yeah.
Okay. B, E.
I didn't write in the G and the E notes.
They have to be quiet.
I'm playing the G and the E notes in this measure. And you can make that measure as many measures as you want, right where my finger is. And then when you're ready to end, you play the A, E, B, G, E, B, F sharp, E, B, A, E, B, G, E, B, fermata. Lots and lots of fill-in, lots and lots of fill-in. Stop!
Mm-hmm.
Could you hold it up one more time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This book is heavy. Guys got it?
Got a screenshot, yes.
Okay. You guys are awesome.
For you, thank you.
Next week we will continue with this song. I'm gonna tweak my. I'm just gonna write in the things that I forgot, that I figured out this morning with my 10:15 class. I'm going to put the intro on. I'm going to put this on. And if you want them faster than Robert gets them up on Patreon, just email me and I'll make sure you get a copy. Check your spam folders if you're not getting my stuff, because I know Beverly, why isn't she on today? She was not getting my Midnight Blue from Monday, and I gave it to her 3 times and it wasn't scanning over to her. So if you're not getting the stuff, check your spam folders, your junk files, and see if it's going there. Because with this new computer, who knows where things are going.
Are you doing fingering this week or next week?
We do not have time today. We will do fingering next week at the end of the class.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't have time today. We're already way over time.
Thank you, my dear.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn.
I knew this one was going to take, 2 weeks, because there's just, first of all, a ton of pages.
Yeah.
Second of all, lots and lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff on this one. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll do part B. This was Stairway to Heaven part A. We'll do Stairway to Heaven part B next week. Some of you are very good at doing your presets. Some of you are just learning how to do your presets, and it's just to get you pushing the buttons on your instrument to find out where these things are. So how can you make the song sound good the way you want to play it? You don't have to do everything that I do, but it just helps you learn what does this little red button do? Remember Bugs Bunny? What does that red one do? Then it teaches you where your bass is, what the bass is doing, what the drummer's doing, editing style, what's going on in edit style, and why would we even want to do that? So we're going to go through, there's some extensive things. It'll take the whole hour next time. Yep. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Part B
Thank
next
you.
week. Then the 22nd, remember, the 22nd, and I'll remind you again next week, no class, only on Wednesday the 22nd. The rest of the week, yes. But that's just because we're having our birthday party in store, and we'll be sending you some more information about that. Each store has its own day. So the Villages is Wednesday the 22nd. So we'll be doing some in-store stuff for that day. You guys are fabulous. Thank you
You're
so much.
fabulous.
You did a tremendous amount of work on this, Dawn.
I did. Yeah,
Very
this
good.
was a hard one. But
Yeah.
I love doing this stuff. It's so much fun.
I'm glad
good.
you're having fun.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
It is so much
Okay.
fun. And if you don't like the song, guess what?
Pitch
Don't
it.
play it. Only play the songs you truly, truly like. So
Play
if-
Mary Ann.
yeah, like there you go. There you go.
No, I'll be trying it.
Yes, I do know
Oh.
that. Absolutely. Yep. I know Mona. I know my
Yeah.
whole morning class is going to play it. I know that.
I'll be working on it.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you want to see the real music? 14 pages.
I
Nice.
actually downloaded the entire thing, and I spent $7 to get. I had the original sheet music, and I don't know if somebody walked away with it, but I had to go back on musicnotes.com and download all the sheets
Oh, my
again. And
goodness.
hey,
Oh, my.
best $7 I ever spent, you know? Every now and then I just gotta crumple and do it, you know, so get the
Dawn,
whole.
I downloaded the first 8 measures of the intro, and do you have more than that?
8 measures? Yeah, how many measures do I have?
We have
1,
twice that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
So you have 8 more than I have.
I
Okay.
do. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep. Yep. I should actually rewrite that too because it's a little messy. I think you can get it. I think it's okay. It's not perfect, but it's the right notes and it's the right chords.
It's right from music notes, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep. Right from music notes. That's where I get all my that's my go-to resource if I don't already have it in my library.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I learned something just from doing this song, so I hope you guys learned something too.
Sure.
And it is just a fun song to play, and it's pretty. It's a pretty song. So we'll work on it for 2 weeks. We'll learn some stuff. Then we'll take a break on the 22nd, and then we'll come back on the 29th and do Summer Breeze.
Okay.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dawn.
Email me if
Bye.
you have any questions.